Hey, what is up, guys? Good to see you here on this absolutely gorgeous Saturday. I don't know what this shiny thing is up there in the sky, but I tell you what, lately we have not seen it because it has been raining cats and dogs every day for the past week. I think we got like 6 inches of rain. So we're going up to the landfill now to check on things. Again, today's Saturday. And I'm gonna ride you guys around with me. We're gonna go check on, just check on the property, but look at all, there was no water down here in this hole last week. Never showed you guys this pit, I don't think. This is our sand clay and kaolin pit. So we got some real nice red sand clay up there. We use that for road construction as well as cover for the landfill. And then the white, and you might be able to see a little bit of that gold. Under that, some purple kaolin. That's a real dense clay that obviously holds water, and we sell it to folks that are building ponds and dams. I think we got like 6 inches plus. My rain gauge, it absolutely filled all the way up and then fell over. We got so much damn rain, but you can just see the amount. Like even that's an old road bed right there. It just blew it completely out. I mean, we have got the rain this week, but let's go ahead and head up now. We'll check on the sand plant, we'll go check on the landfill, see if the guys are doing anything in the mulch yard today, and let's go check on and make sure everybody's working. Well, the sand plant shut down today. We've been working a few Saturdays here recently. Had a company doing a big job, needing some sand. They're actually redoing the bridge on I-20 going from South Carolina to Georgia. So hopefully they're getting that thing about finished, because it has been a traffic nightmare for the last few years. But sometimes on Saturdays, those guys will need a little bit of sand. Now, we're over here at the process pond right now. I want to take a look. Man, we have had so much rain, golly. So here's our catwalk that goes out to this triple turbine process pump. This is the pump that feeds the wash plant right there. So we've got a big old floats on our main trunk line. This water comes up from, well, it starts off in a creek. We pump from a creek to the pond at my house, and then my house to here. It's about a mile to the creek, but I don't think any of the pumps will be running anytime soon. And the only issue I see with all this rain, that water is really stained up and we've got dirty water. And we need clean water as possible, because as you can imagine, we're trying to wash all this crap, silts and clays off of the sand. And if we're using dirty water to do that, those remnants will remain in the sand, and our daily test, which we have to do for DOT, can be affected. So that'll be my only concern this coming week, is washing with this kind of semi-dirty water. But we got a pretty good stockpile over there, so I think we're gonna be okay for a while. So maybe we'll just let this pond sit for a few days and it'll settle out. But this is the process pond. We call it the heart pond because if you look at an aerial, it's kind of when we, not intentionally, but it's shaped just like a heart. And we use that purple kaolin that I was telling you guys about, so it looked like this big old purple heart in the earth that we built. But not only that, it is the heart of the operation too, because without this, well, no water equals no wash sand. Here's just our little control shed right here, a little storage unit, but also it's got all the controls for our pump, and just some extra rollers, battery charger, extra batteries, stuff like that. And the boys have been crushing up a little bit of concrete lately with the Sandvik. So we've got a Sandvik crusher there and a Sandvik screener. They've been using the old Volvo 290 up there to feed it. This is all concrete that's brought into the landfill. It could be parking garage, it could be sidewalks, you name it. But anyway, when they dig it up or tear the building down, it comes here. We'll sort through it. We've got a hydraulic hammer that will come through, reduce the size of the concrete, and then we'll run it through that crusher and sell it as a recycled aggregate. Works out pretty well. We used to just landfill all this stuff, but this is just another way that we recycle around here. And honestly, this helps us hit our recycling goals, just because obviously concrete's really heavy, and the state goes by, you know, weight-wise, how much you recycle. They keep a little dumpster up there to pull out all the trash and unwanted stuff, but there's a prime example up there right now where people have dumped out just some remnants of concrete, and also some leftover concrete that the local companies will bring in. You know, they'll usually have a yard or two left over from a job site, and if we don't have a form available, when I say form, I mean these big metal containers right here. These are what we make the retaining wall block with. So when they bring in concrete that's usable, it'll get put into those forms there, and then that's how we make our retaining wall block, and then sell that as well. So just trying to make something out of nothing, and just trying to waste as little as possible around here. And not a lot going on over at the mulch yard today. This rain really cut down on production this week, because the guys weren't able to make any dyed mulch. When you get this much rain, you know, of course that will just wash the dye right off the mulch. So it looks like they've been processing some green wastes, some tree material, and also I think they were screening up a little bit of compost this week too. It makes, you know, we got to have rain obviously, but you just got to figure out what you can do during those rainy periods. And anything that's real dusty, i.e. crushing concrete or screening compost, stuff like that, it sure helps on dust control when you can't do anything else. So we always find something to do. Here's a bunch of pallets that have been coming in from the loading dock. So we've got a few companies that pay us to recycle their pallets, so they'll get offloaded over there on the loading dock, put into a pit. We take a trash compactor, run over the pallets, and then we'll grind the pallets up, and they'll go into the mulch production process. Here's one of our old bone yards. This is one of my dad's first screen machines right here. I believe it's an old X-Tech was the name of the company. Kind of got some trees growing up through her now, but when I was a boy, I used to have to feed that machine with our old Komatsu WA400 loader, which is still running, by the way. But I would have to feed that old machine, climb up there and clean those screens. It was not the most fun summers of my life spent with that old machine right there. Then we just got an old 826C compactor, probably one of our first ones when we started the landfill, and now we just use her for parts and scrap her out. And I see a few trucks in the landfill today, so let's go up there and check on them, see how things are working out. We moved into that new location that I showed you guys last time, so let's go see how things are going up there. Well, I'll tell you guys one thing, I am sure happy to feel that sunshine on my face today. I think we've got a couple of days without any more rain, and as you can see, we sure don't need it up here. So this is, if you remember, this is where we were digging last week, trying to move that clay material out of the way, and it's really become problematic because once we got on into it, it's so soupy, we just can't move it. So I think what we're gonna have to do is kind of fill in this area around it, and then take the mud material and use that as cover. Once we get it spread out in a thin layer on top of the trash, it'll dry a lot quicker, and I think we'll be able to make it work if the rain will stop. It ain't gonna dry out as long as it keeps raining like it has been. But over here you'll see some big rolls. Not exactly sure what happened with that material. I think it's just a warehouse clean out, honestly. and they needed to make space, and maybe that material just didn't have a use anymore. So they brought it in, and then we've been taking the excavator and stacking, just trying to make sure we utilize the airspace of the landfill. It's a shame there's not a use for that material, because that's a bunch of it and it's taking up a lot of room. But when you have that bulky material like that, sometimes that's just all you can do with it, is just stack it. And then what we'll do is, you can see Antonio up there in the bulldozer, he'll just take and push out on top of it. We'll get a little more compaction out of it, but as you can imagine, those rolls are pretty solid, so we won't get a tremendous amount more compaction out of it. So that's about the best you can do with that material right there. And it's pretty windy up here today, so hopefully that's not messing with the microphone too much and y'all can still hear me. Looks like we've had a good bit of auto fluff come in this morning. That's that black material right there. That's what goes in your trunks and in your floorboards, and occasionally inside the firewall of your engine compartment. We don't really like that stuff because it doesn't compact well, and it'll also get kind of hung up in the tracks. There's Antonio in the old D6 there, pushing trash today on this Saturday. So we're open just on Saturdays. It's just a short day, just 8 to 12, so just a 4-hour day, but it's a busy 4 hours because everybody's trying to get in here to dump so they can, make their week easier and go ahead and get those containers dumped out. So we'll watch him for a little bit, see what kind of comes in here. Looks like I got a bunch of tar paper right there. We get a lot of roofing materials and shingles and that type stuff. Looks like Antonio's got the hang of that dozer. And another load up there being dumped out. Looks like, I don't know, maybe an old porch. It's so hard to tell, or maybe an old garage. I see some filing cabinets, a lot of old lumber, some nursery pots, a little bit of vinyl siding, just regular typical stuff that you see here at a C&D landfill. And again, C&D, in case y'all forgot, stands for construction and demolition. So we don't take any stinky household trash here. It's all just gonna be the floor and walls and roof structures, as well as packaging materials. We can't accept that too, so a lot of cardboard, which we try to pull out and recycle what we can, but obviously, look at this. I hate it, I really, really do, because that's sellable material, but it just comes in at such volume, so you can't recycle it all. We do the best we can, but until government steps in and says, hey, you've got to recycle this material, people are just gonna continue to choose to landfill it, unfortunately. Yeah, I'd say Antonio's getting pretty comfortable with that dozer now. You see how he's coming off? These are, I don't know if the camera does it justice, these are pretty good drop-offs right here, so he's using that blade to kind of drop it and stop himself so that he can back up. But right now, he's just trying to make him a nice ramp down in through here so that he can place more trash out on top of it in lifts, and then again to cover up those big old rolls over there. This is where you got to be careful. I'm really glad he stopped right there. I thought he was going to come out on those rolls for a second, and that dozer weighs a lot, and that would have been a pretty sketchy ride right there. This is the kind of stuff that gets me in trouble right here, guys, is when I'm not in a piece of machinery and just walking around, I have to come check stuff like this, because you never know. A lot of times, I mean, you'll find good stuff, and that roach just climbed in there and scared the crap out of me. But I mean, tools like this just get thrown away all day long, and sometimes, I mean, you'll find perfectly good tools in there. I guess maybe people will clean out a garage or something, and sometimes they're not just paying attention to what they're throwing away. They'll throw away good stuff, but that's how my garage gets slap full right then, or right there. And then what happens, I fill my garage up, then I have to bring a dumpster down to the garage, load up all the crap that I've scavenged, and bring it right back. So I just have to really like make myself not go digging through the trash. It's hard, but it's not worth it. I found out many times, and I've gotten better at it. I'm not 100% cured yet, but I've gotten better. Well, guys, we're gonna get on out of here now. I appreciate y'all riding around with me on this Saturday. Drop me a comment down below, and also thanks to you guys who are commenting and told me where you're from and what you do. That's really cool. I love meeting all you guys and seeing what y'all do for a living and telling me what you want to see. So drop me a comment below, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next video, guys. Have a great day.